you have TikTok and you like basketball, you probably know Showtown Hoops.
Children of all ages, act like you know.
What up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all around the world? Good evening. Y'all know what time it is when you see me. It is Monday night. We have every team in the league is up tonight. Every last one of them. Every team in the league is playing tonight. So, because we got no games tomorrow, it's election day. So no games tomorrow, which I think is great. And I got some interesting stuff going on here, man. And I'm thinking to myself, yo, break up the Cavs. Break up the Cavs, because it's time. It's time to shut the door on the Cavs. We got to break them up. So, who are the best team? Who are the 10 best teams as of today? Right? As of today, who are the 10 best teams in the NBA in terms of power rankings? We're in week 2. From what you've seen, right? From what you've seen so far, right? From what you've seen so far, who are the 10 best teams in the league as of right now? At number 10, I got the Miami Heat. Miami has always been, and it's not his it's a thigh injury. It's his adductor. Understand the difference between your thigh and your adductor. Your thigh muscle is different than your adductor. Your adductor muscle is the muscle that allows you to lift your leg to walk. Now, it's probably on the scouting report. I mean, it's probably on the injury report that he's out tonight with an adductor. I doubt that it's serious, but even still, I got the Miami Heat at 10. They're still one of the best defensive teams in the game. It's kind of ironic looking at Miami off the strength that the Miami Heat are. It's kind of ironic looking at the Miami Heat because it's a bit of a quagmire dealing with them. They are, on one hand, they're one of the best defensive teams in the game, but on the flip side to that, offensively, they shoot the long ball. They shoot the long ball with the best of them. Like they're in the top. They're right outside the top 10 in 3-point percentage, and in attempts, they shoot the long ball with the best of them. And with them doing that, right? With them doing that, which I think is good. They're still not a very good transition team. They're not a good isolation team. Bam has started the season really slow. And I don't know how this team is winning games. It has a lot to do with their strength of schedule, but I don't know how this team is winning games right now. I wish I could tell you that I knew, because I don't know how this team is winning games right now. I think more of it, right? I think more of it is what it's been in the past. They don't have anybody averaging 20 a game on their roster. They don't. So this team is predicated on defense more than anything. This team is predicated on defense and on them getting offense from their defense. So, I look at this. I look at this Miami Heat team, and I think they're the 10th best team in the league right now. At number 9, and I thought that they would be higher, but I kind of want to move them ahead of the number 8 team. And that's the Memphis Grizzlies. They got tripped up a little bit, right? They got tripped up a little bit by injury. Desmond Bane's been out the lineup. G.G. Jackson is out of the lineup. So that's going to hamper them. I don't know how long Desmond Bane is going to be out of the lineup, but with that being said, when I look at what Memphis has done, right? When I look at what Memphis has done, just from the standpoint on offense, right? Just from the standpoint on offense, they're in the top 10 in the league in offense. They third in pace, which is great. That's why I don't give Ja enough credit for. I don't give Ja enough credit for the distributor that he is. And one of the main reasons why he's as good a distributor as he is because they play fast. That's a big deal, right? That's a big deal. The fact that they play fast. They got a top 10 offense. They're third in the league in pace. They're at the top of the league in assists, and that's largely due to Ja. And over the last 5 games, Ja's averaging for the last 5 games, Ja's averaging 12 assists on 4 turnovers. That's a 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. I don't give Ja nearly as much credit as I should for his ability to pass. But they got bit by the injury bug. That's the downside to it. They got bit by the injury bug. So not Jaren Jackson, I'm sorry. Desmond Bane is out of the lineup. They're not getting GG back until after Christmas. And Jaren Jackson still won't rebound. He still won't rebound. And because he won't rebound, that's going to hamper them. Now, I know I said that you got this big fella in Zach Edey, who I think is going to be the rookie of the year. But the fact that you got the big guy who does rebound, that doesn't take away from Jaren Jackson's ability to rebound. It doesn't. 5 rebounds at the 4? 5, that's it. That's not enough, man. You got to be a better rebounder than what you already are. You have to be. And I don't get why he's not. I don't. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. At number 8, which I think is interesting, because the same way I feel about Miami, I feel the same way about the Dallas Mavericks. I'm trying to put together how they're winning games, considering. Right? I'm trying to figure out how they're winning games, considering what they got going on. This is a Dallas team that's at the bottom 5 in the league in pace. They're at the bottom 5 in the league in pace, which is interesting considering Luka will get the ball up the floor. What up, JC? How you doing, brother? Luka will get the ball up the floor. So why are they at the bottom of the league in pace? Why aren't they playing faster? Right? That part I don't get. What up, Russ? Why are they not playing faster than what they are? Because Luka will get the ball up the floor. Where are the athletes? Gafford is an athlete. I mean, they moved off of Derek Jones and they supplemented that with Najee Marshall. Najee Marshall is not the athlete or the transition player that Derek Jones Jr. is, but he's still a good athlete. But I think Derek Jones Jr. would make them faster. Kyrie Irving is playing at a great level right now. I think at this point, I think he's almost 50, 60, close to 90. And Kyrie Irving has always been really efficient. I know I've been critical of Irv in the past, but what I can't be critical of when it comes to Irv is I can't be critical of how efficient he's always been. Right? I can't be critical of how efficient Kyrie Irving has been. He makes he's one of the better tough shot makers in the game, but Kyrie Irving is also one of the better shot takers in the game. He doesn't take a lot of bad shots. But when I think about Dallas, again, they're in the bottom 5 in the league in pace. They got an average offense. Luka is shooting under 40% from the floor, which that's happening largely due to his shot selection. I think Luka can get better shots than what he's been getting. And he's shooting under 30% on the 3. So with him doing that, how are they winning games? Well, if I look at Dallas, they got a top 3 defense, top 5. They got a top 5 defense in the league. I think they're third or fourth, right? I think they're third or fourth in the league in defense. They're number 1 in the league in steals, which if when I see a team that's that high in the league in steals, that tells me that they should be better in transition. And the problem with Dallas is they should be better in transition, and they should be faster in pace because they're creating turnovers. They can speed the game up. So why aren't they? Because everybody's running to the long ball line. That's why. That's the problem. The stuff that they could get at the rim, they're not getting it because everybody running to the long ball line. Everybody is running to the long ball line. So they're not getting what they could get at the rim more, which would make them more efficient. So their defense is what's winning games for them. 100% that's going on. Now, is Luka going to continue to shoot under 40% from the floor and under 30 on the long ball? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I doubt that very seriously. I'm pretty confident that looking at Luka, I'm pretty confident looking at Luka and looking at how much of a bucket getter that he is, how easy of a bucket getter he is. Because I'm on record saying this, that I think he's the easiest. I think he's the best scorer in the game. I don't think that there's anybody in the game who scores easier than him. Right? I don't think that there's anybody in the game that scores easier than him. With that, he's going to turn it around. And he's definitely going to get better. 100% he is. So, I got a quick super chat from Dubs Bestie. He says, Ty Jerome and Karis LeVert are key to. So Karis LeVert is key to the. Karis LeVert is key to the Warriors as a rotation player, and Ty Jerome is 100% they are. I won't argue that. Hell no. I will not argue that. They're definitely key to what they're doing. At number 7, I got the Knicks. I was a little weary of this Cat experiment because you know the tag on Cat is that he's soft. And when you lose Julius Randle, you lose some toughness. But we do get some of that other stuff back. We do get a glass cleaner. Right? We get a downhill guy who can be more under control than he is. More. Because remember, Cat led the league in charges last year. Yeah. Nobody in the league committed more charges than Cat did last season. So with that being said, that could be a problem. Their offense can be a bit stagnant, but it hasn't been. Yep, it has not been. You know, Cat, still one of the better long ball shooters. I don't like OG Anunoby in this offense, though. I think OG Anunoby could be used better. I think OG Anunoby can be used better in this offense than he is. He's one of the he's a damn good long ball shooter. He's actually really good in transition. And they could get him involved more. Dave sends a super chat. He says, is it true that Kenny Atkinson wore on the Nets? He got ran out of there. 100% he did. No doubt about it. He got ran out of there. They made the playoffs the year before they got Irv and Kevin Durant. They made the playoffs with Kyrie Irving out of the lineup. D'Angelo Russell had made the All-Star team that year. And they were rolling. Kenny Atkinson is a damn good coach. That's why, even though I dig JB Bickerstaff as a coach, when they hired Kenny Atkinson, I was like, okay, they'll be fine. They'll be just fine. Because Kenny Atkinson is an X and O guy. Not only is he an X and O guy, he's also one of the master motivators. I really like that about him. So he got the shaft in Brooklyn. No doubt about it, he got the shaft. Smokey sends the super chat. He says, what up, Unc? Hope you're blessed. What's your thoughts on Nick Smith Jr. on the Hornets? I like his in and out game, and the Hornets really got some nice tradable backcourt guys. Tradable backcourt guys over there. They do. Nick Richards, I really don't know what to do with him because he's one of those guys, kind of like Hassan Whiteside, where I could get a 20-20 game from him. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw that he had a 20-20 game. That would not surprise me. But you know what else wouldn't surprise me? If he went a month without getting double-digit rebounds. If he went a month without scoring in double digits, it would not surprise me. I thought that I thought that the health of I thought that the health of I thought that the health of LaMelo is the key to this crew. I thought that the health of LaMelo is the key to this crew, because I think that with LaMelo, right? I thought that the key to LaMelo. I mean, I thought that the key to am I saying something wrong, Smokey? You said Nick Smith. Oh, you didn't say Nick Richards. I'm sorry. I got that wrong. I haven't really paid much attention to Nick Smith. I'm too busy watching Trey Mann and trying to figure out why Mark Andrews is not back in the lineup. I'm trying to figure that out. That's what I'm trying to figure out. More than anything, I'm trying to figure out why Mark Andrews is not back in the lineup, and I'm paying attention to Trey Mann. That's who I'm thinking about. So my fault, Smokey. I thought that Charlotte, right? When I think about Charlotte, I thought that Charlotte, with LaMelo Ball being healthy, I think that they can knock on the play-in door. I think that they could be right there with. I think they could be right there with Atlanta. Chicago's going to come back down to earth. I don't think Chicago's going to be a top 5 seed in the East. I think they're going to come back down to earth. I think they can be right there with Indiana, knocking on the play-in door, if he could stay healthy. Right? If he could stay healthy, I think that they can knock on the play-in door. So, as I was saying about the Knicks, Cat being the big man that he is, being able to stretch the defense the way he does really helps the Knicks. I don't think that they use OG as well as they can. They could do a better job at using OG, particularly in transition. That's who I have at number 7. At number 6, I got the Lakers, and defensively, the Lakers have been less than, and that's largely due to them not being able to guard on the perimeter. They can't stay in front of anybody. Anthony Davis is the back line of their defense. He's all that they have defensively, and they got to be better on the perimeter. Offensively, I really dig this dynamic between Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves. I love what they're doing. I love it. And I thought it was good last year. I actually thought it was good the year before that in 23 when they went to West Finals. I like the dynamic between Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves. They got a good thing going. And the ball doesn't stick to James's hands. He's not the sole playmaker. That's not what's going on. In fact, they got a bunch of different playmakers because the ball is moving. I wouldn't equate it to what they're doing up in Golden State, but I like the fact that the ball is moving more with them. And because the ball is moving more, that's putting them in better situations offensively. I do like that. James has slowed, and I'm not surprised about that. Yo, he's 39 years old. I can't keep expecting James, to be James. I can't. Even though he is an anomaly, I can't continue to expect him to be James. I can't. That's why those other guys have to be better, which would explain why JJ Redick changed the offense. Who is a damn good coach? He is. From what I've seen so far, JJ Redick can coach. JJ Redick knows what he's doing. Now, I can say that when you go from stale, bad food, a bowl of cereal with cold milk looks way better than what you had. Does that mean that JJ Redick can't coach and that he's just better than what was awful? He just sucks less? No, I don't think that at all. Because I like JJ Redick's schemes. I like how he commands the huddle. And it looks like James respects him. And I like that. I do. I definitely like that. But when you go from this to that, it on the surface it could look, the looks could be deceiving. At number 5, I got the Phoenix Suns. They've been rolling 5-1. The offense looks way different. Jones looks like he's in command of that offense. The ball is hopping. This is a theme, guys. This is 100% a theme in basketball. Let's just forget the NBA for a second. This is 100% a theme. The Golden State Warriors do it. The Boston Celtics did it. The Miami Heat did it when they won the NBA championship. The San Antonio Spurs in 2014 did it. Move the basketball. When you move the ball, people are moving. When people are moving, the defense is off balance. You have a better opportunity to put the defense off balance when you're doing that. A much better opportunity to do that. So I love the fact that the ball is moving. Kevin Durant, I just accepted the fact that, and I know this may sound ridiculous to some of you guys, but I've just accepted the fact that Kevin Durant is 25 on a Tuesday. I just accepted that. That's just who he is. There's nothing else that I can say about KD except, he's 25 on a Tuesday. This is who he is. This is what he's about. And he's always going to be a bucket getter. Always going to be a bucket getter. That's just who he is. So with him being the bucket getter that he is, with the ball moving better, right? With him being the bucket getter that he is, with the ball moving better, which I really appreciate with this team. I'm still a little bit worried about their defense. I think they could be a little bit better defensively, and I think that right. I think that that's going to change, but offensively they look damn good. Offensively they look damn good, and I definitely dig. I definitely dig what I'm seeing from Phoenix. I have Phoenix. I have Phoenix as a play-in team. Yeah, I have Phoenix as a play-in team. I didn't have them as high as everybody else was on them. I did not have them that high. I thought that they would be around 8, 9, because I wasn't sold on a backup coming in. Because even though you do have now a lead guard, you still got to change the offense. Like just getting a point guard. Yeah, just because you got a point guard, that does not alleviate everything. We still got to change the offense because that offense was very one-on-one centered. Pass, go one-on-one. And the fact that Bradley Beal and Devin Booker are basically, they do the same thing. Devin Booker just better than him at it. They both two guards. They both shoot the basketball. They both score it. It's just Book better than Bradley Beal at that. So where does that leave Bradley Beal? Bradley Beal is now a rotation guard. Not at 50 million, he ain't. Hell no. I don't think so. I do not think so. This is a team that I was actually surprised about. Really surprised about. And that was the Dubs. That was 100% the Dubs. And I still don't have them making the playoffs, but they jumped out the box. Buddy Hield, watching him, Buddy Hield looks to me like he should have been on the Warriors. Like he should have been there. I understand why he hasn't been there, because they had Clay. Right? I understand that, because they already had a two guard who's an awesome shooter, and Klay Thompson. That's why he's not on that crew. But if you're going to get somebody to fill the gap of Klay Thompson as a shooter, not as an overall player, but just as a shooter, I don't hate Buddy Hield. Nope. I don't hate Buddy Hield at all. Off the strength that he will make open shots. And what I've seen from Buddy Hield, he now will take contested shots. He wasn't doing that in Indiana. No. In Indiana, he was primarily shooting open shots. He would get ran off the long ball line. There wouldn't be one dribble and a shot. That's not going on with him. It was primarily him getting wide open looks, and that was it. That was it. So, and they're doing this without Curry. They're doing this without Curry. They're one of the best defensive teams in the game. Draymond is playing at an all-league defensive level. I love that. I'm still not buying the logic that Pods was the one who held up the Lauri marketing trade. You're not selling me that. No. Mm-mm. No way. Because if Pods is the future, there's no reason why Steph Curry should still be here. None whatsoever. If that's true. If we're looking for this crew to be the future and we're moving toward the future, then we had to move up for Steph Curry. So that didn't make any sense to me at all. They're one of the better defensive teams in the game. Andrew Wiggins has been playing really well. They got one of the best rotations in the game. I really like that about the Warriors. I'm not sold on them. I still don't have them making the playoffs. I got to see it. I got to see it as we move further on into the season. I do. I have to see it as we move further on into the season. At number 3, I got the Boston Celtics. I think that the Boston Celtics still are the team to beat in the NBA in a 7-game series. I don't see anybody beating them 4 times in a week. But as of right now, I don't think they're the best team in the NBA. Their offense has gotten better. They shoot the long ball a little bit more. Yep, they shoot the long ball a little bit more. I mean, they're shooting 49 threes a game. They're getting 94 shots a game, and 49 of them are threes. That's more than half their shots. That's who they are. It's either at the rim or at the long ball line. Very little in between. Very little in between. I think they're getting like 3 shots a game in the mid-range. Now, from a personnel standpoint, I think they got 3 or 4 guys. I mean, last year they had 4 guys shoot over 200 threes. This year, I think, let's see, Tatum, Brown, Holiday, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, just to name a few, Derek White, just to name a few. These are 6 guys that are going to get at minimum, that are going to at minimum shoot 100 threes at minimum. So defensively, they've been better, and I think that they're going to get better this season. Their action has been really good, but I'm really impressed with their rotation guys. I think that Peyton Pritchard is the best backup lead guard in the game. I'm on record saying that, and there's really not much else I'll say about that. I love his confidence. I love the fact that he will shoot the long ball. He will get to the rim. And when the game slows down, he's smart enough, right? He is smart enough to get his troops under control. He played point guard in college, and he was a damn good point guard at Oregon. Damn good point guard at Oregon. At number 2, I have the Oklahoma City Thunder. There has not been a team in NBA history. We are in year 78 in the NBA. There has not been a team in NBA history who, through the first 6 games, have won by an average margin, have won by double digits this many times than the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're on pace to have one of the best defenses in NBA history. I love that. I love the fact that they're one of the best defensive teams in the game. I love the fact that Lou Dort is looking at the rim way more confidently than he did last season. He's not even calling for the ball more than he's just giving you that look like, swing it over here. I got it. Yep. Like last year, he had to shoot because he was open. This year, he's willing to shoot. There's a difference. Yep. There's a huge difference. So Chet's been great for them defensively. One of the better rim protectors in the game. I think he's going to be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think that I had given Chet enough credit as a defender. Not necessarily as a defender. Let me take that back. I haven't given him enough credit as a rim protector. And I think that was largely due to his small frame. Yeah, I think that was it more than anything. Because he hasn't filled out yet. Because he's got a thin frame. I haven't really given him enough credit as a defender. But with that being said, he's been fantastic defensively. I love it. I love him chasing guys out of the paint. I love him blocking shots without fouling. His ability to rebound. Like, there's some people who think he's the defensive player of the year this year. I think it's the guy on the next team, but I could see it. I 100% could see it. The thing I love about Shea more than anything is I just love his pace. I love the fact that I love the fact that you can't speed him up, you can't slow him down. You can only do your best to stay in front of him. He's not going to play any faster. He's not going to play any faster than he wants to. He's not going to play any slower than he wants to. And I love that about him. And when I think about this team being better, it had a lot to do with J-Dub. Dub had to get better. And it looks like he has. It 100% looks like he has gotten better. And he had to. This wasn't a situation where he could just come back and be a similar dude. No, he had to get better in order for him to take that next step. He had to do that. And he's doing it. And the best team that I think in the league right now is the Cavs. And I know that this may sound ridiculous to you guys. I'm going to run down their schedule for you really quickly. So I think they're going to beat Milwaukee tonight. That's going to make 8 in a row. They got New Orleans on Wednesday. I think that they beat New Orleans in New Orleans. That's going to be 9 in a row. They come back home and they got the Warriors. I think that they beat the Warriors. That's going to be 10 in a row. Then they got Brooklyn the next night at home. They beat them. That's going to be 11 in a row. Then they're at Chicago on Monday. Chicago's going to be difficult. But I think that they beat Chicago too. Then they got Philly. I don't know what the story is with Joel Embiid. I don't. I wish I could tell you what the story is with Joel Embiid. I don't know what the story is with Joel Embiid. I'm going to guess that he's not playing. I'm going to guess that he's not playing. That's going to be 13 in a row. And then on that Friday, the 15th, they play the Bulls, and that's the beginning of the in-season tournament. I think the Bulls got an opportunity to get them. I do. I think the Bulls have an opportunity to get them, and I think that the Bulls could get them because that in-season tournament, the action, the intensity picks up. That Sunday, they play Charlotte. I think they beat Charlotte. Tuesday, they go to Boston. I think they lose in Boston. And it's the in-season tournament. I think they lose to them. Then Wednesday at home against New Orleans. Sunday at home against Toronto. And then they play Atlanta in back-to-back games. So their first 20 games, I'm looking at one loss. They could go 20-1. They could start the season 15-0. That could very much happen. They could very well start the season 15-0. Of the teams that I've seen, they could definitely start the season 15-0. And I don't think that that's ridiculous. That they could start the season 15-0. Now, I mean, I seen this happen with them last year. They won 16 out of 17, if I'm not mistaken. And that was right in the midst of the Bickerstaff. That was right in the midst of the Bickerstaff Donovan Mitchell fiasco. And we kept hearing rumblings. We kept hearing rumblings that Donovan Mitchell wanted out, which, by the way, he never said that. Never said that he wanted out. But I think Evan Mobley is the defensive player of the year. This team They don't remind me of anybody specific. Maybe a better version of Atlanta in 2015 with Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. Maybe a better version of them. But better defensively. I could see Cleveland winning 55 games this year. I don't think that's ridiculous to think that Cleveland can't win 55 games this year. Close to 60. And when's the last time in my memory, when's the last time two teams in the Western Conference won 60 plus games? I think it was the Warriors in San Antonio in 15-16. I'm wondering if I'm looking at that kind of season. I'm wondering. I'm wondering if I'm looking at that kind of season where we could get two teams in the same conference to win 60 plus games. Is that ridiculous to think that the Celtics, because I got the Celtics winning anywhere between 65 to 70 games. And I don't think that I don't think the Cavs are winning less than 55 games. I think they can win 60 games. And I would love to address this right here. What? That Atlanta 14-15 teams were frauds. Actually, they weren't. They just ran into James. That's just not true, Top Rated. You couldn't be more wrong on that. They just ran into James. They had won 60 games that year. They were 14 games over 500 against the Western Conference. And the only team that they lost to were the Cavs. They beat everybody else. They handled everybody else. So that's not true. They weren't frauds. They just ran into James. That's what the downside was. That's what the downside was. That team was not they were not frauds. That was a damn good team. If they were able to avoid the Cavs, I think they would have went to the finals that year. If they were able to avoid the Cavs, now could they have won it? I don't know about that. I'm not going that far. I'm not going that far. But if they were able to avoid the Cavs, I think they would have been in the NBA Finals. They had a damn good team. They had a marksman in Kyle Korver. They had a damn good point guard in Teague. They had an all-league defender and all-star in Al Horford. They had and Paul Millsap was one of the most versatile players in the league at that point. If they end up avoiding the Cavs, I think they're in the NBA Finals. That team was not a fraud, top hated. That's not true. That is not true, sir, at all. No, they were not a fraud. That was a good team. That was a damn good team. They just had the misfortune of running into James. That was it. Like a whole bunch of other teams, they had the misfortune. They had the misfortune of running into James. That was it. So, I like this Cavs team. Do I think that they can win it? No, I'm not going that far. I don't think that they can win it. However, you've heard me say in the past, I would, and as of recently, and when I say recently, I mean recently as this summer, you've heard me say I would not be surprised to see the Cavs in the East Finals. That would not surprise me. They've gotten better every year. They've had some favorable matchups, 100%. Last year, them running into Orlando, who's an up-and-coming team, right? Who was an up-and-coming team. But with that, they've gotten better. And I would not be surprised to see the Cavs in the East Finals this year. And I'm not a Knicks fan, Dave. Go do your homework on me. Go do your homework on me, sir. But before you talk about me, go do your homework on me. Go do your homework. So, but I want to talk to you guys, though. That's what I want to do. I want to talk to you guys and see what's on your mind. You said that which team is the Cavs replacing in the Eastern Conference Finals? Indiana. Indiana was just in the Eastern Conference Finals. You don't think that they're better than them? 100% they better than them. Yes, they're better than them. Today, 100% they are. What up?
Yo, what up, Chill?
What up, brother?
Yeah, I'm not really mad at the list. I think the list is good. One of the things that I'm thinking about is, man, Donovan Mitchell better make an All NBA team this year. Because I'm still upset that year in Utah that he had the number one seed and he didn't make an All NBA team. I think he
I don't
got
think that's
robbed of
ever
it.
happened. I don't think that's ever happened in NBA history.
That was
Ever.
crazy. I didn't understand that. Like the first seed and he didn't make like not one All NBA team, and he
I
was
don't think that's
averaging
ever
like
happened.
25 a game. So it wasn't
So,
like he was. What was you saying?
so you got the leading. So, in all of my years of watching pro basketball, Classic, the number one seed in the Western Conference, and this is when the Western Conference was whack in the 80s. The number one seed in the Western Conference, their leading scorer, their second leading assist man, and their third leading rebounder, not on the All-Pro team. That's never happened ever.
It's crazy. Like he should have
That's
at
never
least
happened.
made one.
That's never
And
happened. You
yeah. So
outraged.
I'm
You outraged over that. I'm outraged that he should have been first team All NBA the year in 23. He should have been first team All NBA that year. Luka and SGA should not have been first team. No.
yeah. Is that the year that Luka and SGA missed the playoffs and they made? Yeah,
Donovan Mitchell should
yeah,
have been first team All Pro that year. First team. But anyway, I'm
yeah.
sorry for interrupting.
Nah, that's crazy too. But I'm glad that the Cavs are that they're good this year because I think that the narrative about the East is weak. I think that with them being so dominant, I think that that's killing that narrative. So I do hope that they
Sure.
go on that win streak.
Sure.
And then and I think I had the Suns at 4. And
Mhm.
I'm really impressed with what the Suns are doing, and I think that one of the reasons why is because of Mike Budenholzer. And I was telling you in Ox last Saturday, man, the Bucks shouldn't fire him because I thought he was the perfect fit for Giannis. And so now the Suns have hired him, and now that they're off to this great start, I think that Mike Budenholzer is just a good coach that knows how to like manage superstars, and he knows how to win games.
Why did he get ran out of Milwaukee? What
I
was the
told you I
problem?
chill. Giannis couldn't make those free throws. And then he started blaming people and he scapegoated Drew and Mike Budenholzer.
And Mike Budenholzer didn't do a good job in coaching in that East Finals. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Miami Heat were shooting lights out in those East Finals, but to leave Drew Holiday one-on-one with Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler was just going off on him, that was definitely an issue. 100% that wasn't it. That was definitely an issue, and I do blame him for that. I
But
definitely do.
chill,
But
whenever they lost though, if you double Jimmy, from what I remember that year, Max Strus and Gabe Vincent, they were unconscious from 3. So would you rather live with Jimmy killing Drew or Gabe and Max shooting all those threes and making them? Because they were
I,
hot.
I would live with those two guys more than an established scorer and bucket getter. I mean, Jimmy Buckets is not a self-proclaimed name. You guys are gonna have to do it, not him. No, there's a reason why they call him Jimmy Buckets, because he's a bucket getter. So I want to get the ball out of his hands, and Max Strus has to do it for an entire series. Gabe Vincent has to do it for an entire series. I got to get the ball out of Jimmy Butler's hands or Jimmy Bucket's hands. I have to, because he's an established scorer. That's who he is. So, good to talk to you, though, brother. You know where to find me at.
Yep, you have a good one, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got to get the ball out of Jimmy Butler's hands. I have to, and those other guys are gonna have to do it. Not when I got an established scorer, right? Not when I got an established scorer and bucket getter in Jimmy Butler. One of y'all dudes gonna have to beat us, because I'm not gonna stand there and just let Drew Holiday and Jimmy Butler let Drew Holiday just get torched by Jimmy Butler. Hell no, I ain't doing that. I'm not gonna do that. So that I'm not trying to hear. So again, this Cavs team, I know it's early in the season. I was high on them in the summertime. I was high on them before the season started, and I'm still high on them. I think that they're going to be trouble in the Eastern Conference. I got a couple super chats that I got to read. I got I got one from Dave. Dave says, how would you fix the Hawks? Tired of this crap. Well, one of the things that we have to do is we have to change the identity of the Hawks. Because, I mean, you got a dynamic point guard in Trae Young, right? You got a dynamic point guard in Trae Young, who I still think Trae Young's one of the better lead guards in the game, but I think he can't be the focal point of your offense. He's got to be more of a distributor and less of a scorer. I think you got to involve Jalen Johnson more in the game, speed the game up, play faster, involve him more. And I think that your offense, I think that your game plan needs to be predicated more on defense. That's why Dyson Daniels is there. And I'm ready to move off of Clint Capella too. I think you've gotten everything that you're going to get out of him. Jay Carter sent the super chat. Thanks, brother. In the Trib, he sends a super chat. He says, I think the Cavs should get off Garland and a big. I think you bugging, Trib. And the reason why I think you bugging on that is this team has been together for as long as this team has been together. And the fact that they've been together for as long as they've been together, it just works. It's working. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland has become he's become a lot more comfortable with Darius Garland, and Darius Garland has become a lot more comfortable with Donovan Mitchell in the lineup. I really like that. Evan Mobley is looking at the basket now, with him looking at the basket, which I think is fantastic, not just from the long ball line, but being more aggressive, getting downhill. That just helps Cleveland. And I can't say this enough. I think he's the defensive player of the year. Some of you guys are going to scream on me about Evan Mobley being the defensive player of the year and possibly it being Chet or being Wemby. And I think that I know for a fact, this is the stuff that gets my blood pressure up. It just does. And the reason why I say that is because last year, Chet Holmgren, his rook season, right? Chet Holmgren, this is his rook season. With this being Chet Holmgren's rook season, Evan Mobley is coming off of being top three in defensive player of the year. So he's at this point arguably one of the 5 best defenders in the game. At this point, at the end of his second season, he gets riddled with injury. He basically misses almost half the season. What does Chet do last season? Because again, they weren't close coming into this season. Going into year 3, Chet and Evan Mobley are not this. That's not true. And the reason why I say that is because none of us knew who Chet was. Nobody knew what he was going to be. He was just coming off an injury with his foot, so we didn't know what he was. I had seen who Evan Mobley was at that point. I didn't have him in Chet like this. No, Evan Mobley had put in the work, so he had elevated himself above many of these others. So then now Chet shows up. Chet's still not an all-league defender. Chet's playing damn good defense, but from what you guys are telling me, the gap has closed. What did Chet do? What did Chet do within this year to jump over Mobley, considering what Mobley had already done? What did Chet do to jump over him? When they weren't close 2 years ago. And then last year, what did Chet do to leap over Mobley? Just as a defender, what did he do? I don't think that there was anything he did that was better than Mobley. Mobley's a great rim protector. He's more switchable than Chet. Great rebounder. He enhances his crew. There's nothing that I think Chet did to jump over Mobley. The idea that he's just better, no, that's because I said so. And no, that logic doesn't work around here. I don't do that. Because I said so is not an answer. Because essentially what you're telling me is you just look at Chet and go, he better than Mobley. That's what you're telling me. He better than Mobley. And don't get me wrong, I've used the eye test from time to time. Yes, I did that with Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook in 2011. When I saw Derrick Rose and I saw Russell Westbrook in 2012. When I saw Russell Westbrook and Derrick Rose in 2012 in 2011, in the summer of 2011 in the FIBA World Championships, I was like, he better than him. Just as good an athlete, gets downhill with the best of them, scores it at the rim with some of the best of them. He better than him. So I've done that with the eye test. But then I watch and I see what you produce and I put those things together. And with putting those things together, Chet did not, in my estimation, he did not jump over Evan Mobley. No, he did not. He did not. Absolutely. I'm not buying that at all. I don't think he did. So what up?
Chill. I'm not gonna lie. I'm big on Evan Mobley, Chill, as a defender. Like, don't you kind of get like KG vibes from him when you watch him play defense, Chill?
I think he's the defensive player of the year. That's where
from the 3 through the 5. I mean, the only other guy that I can name that's more versatile defensively is probably Bam.
There isn't anybody in the league that I, not even in the league today, that I'm comparing him to in terms of a defender. But when I look at his game and I look at what he is as a defender, how switchable he is, how he's able to handle smaller guards, how he's able to handle wings, there aren't many guys. I don't mean bigs. I mean there aren't many guys in the league that are better defenders than him, especially at this young of an age.
Do you think that rim protection in particular is the most valued aspect of defense nowadays?
I've always felt like.
And do you think that Evan Mobley does that better than the other defensive bigs in the NBA?
I've always thought that it was harder to guard at the rim than it is to guard on the perimeter, because guarding on the perimeter, I have somebody to clean up my messes. So if I get beat, I got a big guy behind me to block shots. I got a big guy behind me to deter shots. When I'm on the block or I'm in the mid post in that area, it's just me and you. So I don't have anybody to clean up my mess. You beat me, that's it. It's just me and the rim. I'm the only thing standing between you and the rim. And I've always felt like playing in the post and rim protection, I've always felt like that was more valuable than a guy being on
an elite perimeter defender.
Yeah, I've always.
Do you think Evan Mobley is doing that better than all the other defensive bigs?
I don't think he's doing it better, but I don't think that I don't think, like, for example, Anthony Davis. I don't think Anthony Davis is leaps and bounds better than Evan Mobley. I think he's a better defender, but I don't think he clears Evan Mobley as a defender. I don't. I think that he's in the same conversation with Bam. I think he's in the same conversation with any of those other bigs.
Rudy Gobert, Bam, all those other guys. Chill.
I don't think that they're that far away. I think Anthony Davis and Rudy Gobert, I think that they're in a different space, but I don't think that they're leaps and bounds ahead of Evan Mobley. And a lot of times when you're talking about the defensive player of the year, it's very much like the league MVP. The best defender in the game doesn't always win it. I mean, Marcus Smart was not the best.
What's an example of like the best defender not winning it then?
Marcus Smart was not the best defensive player in the game in 2021. No, he wasn't. He was not the best defensive player. He wasn't a better defender than he wasn't a better defender than Bam. That's number one. And number two, just on the perimeter, I don't think he was better than Mikal Bridges that year.
I don't think he was better than Drew.
I thought Mikal Bridges was better than him that year. So when I think about, the defensive player of the year, I don't think Jaren Jackson was the best defender in the game in 23. He wasn't better than Anthony Davis as a defender. No.
AD always gets snubbed for DPOY, Chill. Like, that's just who AD is at this point.
So
he always gets snubbed for DPOY. But given everything you just told me, couldn't we say that, to kind of give you a little pushback, couldn't you say that Bam would win the DPOY then? With everything you just said about Evan Mobley.
It depends on what Bam produces. 100%. So you and I can't be on the same level, but then I end up producing more than you. That can't
Like,
happen. So it depends on
defensively.
what Bam. Yeah, it depends on what Bam produces. It's like what I just got finished talking about when I talk about a guy that I look at him and I go, okay, he is better than him. But then what is it that you're producing? Because that matters. Production
Well,
is
so
the only
wouldn't
thing
the
that
production
matters.
be exactly the reason as to why he's better in the first place?
When you're talking about Mobley, or you're talking about
Like Bam,
Bam?
particularly. Like, wouldn't
Sure,
isn't Bam's production the reason why he's better than Evan Mobley as a defender?
sure. Here's the difference. Guys catch up to other guys. And I feel like Evan Mobley, which the gap wasn't that far off between those two. Evan Mobley
Oh, it wasn't.
and Evan Mobley and Bam are, I think, the two most switchable bigs in the game. I think Evan Mobley is a better rim protector and a better rebounder than Bam.
Mm-hmm.
Now where we are,
better rebounder.
Now yes, I do think he's a better rebounder than Bam. Now where we are, he's a better rebounder in traffic. Bam doesn't rebound at a high clip for me. I think
well, he's a double digit rebounder. Chill. I mean, at that point,
he actually isn't.
He isn't. He's a 9 rebound a game guy.
He's not a consistent 10 rebound a game guy, and he should be. Meanwhile, Mobley, I think Mobley could be anywhere between an 11 and 13 rebound a game guy.
Well, chill. We saw,
On a
like,
consistent
you
basis.
just mentioned Triple J. Like, that was, Triple J isn't like an elite rebounder.
No,
You know
in fact, not only is he not an elite rebounder, he's a less than rebounder. He won defensive player of the year. He had 7 rebounds. No.
They just don't, like, the modern day big, or at least, the smaller, like, 6'9" bigs, like, they just don't rebound like that. It's more so about, like, rim protection, the value you provide off ball and on ball as a defender.
That's true.
You don't think so?
Nick Claxton rebounds.
Oh, for sure. Nick Claxton rebounds. He's on a bad defensive unit. Really bad defensive unit. On the Brooklyn Nets. All right, Chill.
Good to talk to you. Yep. So I think I really like what I'm seeing from this Cavs team. I just am. And with that, right? With that, I'm really interested to see how this Cavs team fares this season. I am. I'm really interested to see how they fare this season, because I'm liking what I'm seeing from this Cavs team. I am liking what I'm seeing from this Cavs team all the way around this year. 100% I am. I love what I'm seeing from them, and it's working. Yes, it is. It is definitely working, and I hope it continues. I do. I hope it continues. That just changed, by the way, Green, a couple of nights ago, because Bam had a 50. I think he had a 17 game. I think he had a 17 rebound game. Up until that point, he wasn't doing that. So that's just not true. He literally just did that. Today is Monday. Saturday, he just did that when they played against Washington. Up until that point, it was not going on. So that's just not it. So anyway, I have to see, right? I have to see this season. And I'm doing playback on Thursday. Yep, I'm doing playback on Thursday, and I'm doing the Trailblazers Spurs game. And I have to see more of the lesser teams this season, off the strength that, right? I have to see more of the lesser teams this season, off the strength that when people bring it to me, I got to be able to talk about the Trailblazers. I got to be able to talk about Detroit, right? I got to be able to talk about the Trailblazers. I got to be able to talk about Detroit. But Green comes in here. Green, let me ask you a question, Green. Do you test your debate skills against me? I'm asking you that. Do you test your debate skills against me? I've always wondered that, because you've been a contrarian ever since I've been on here, and ever since you've come in here. Do you test your debate skills against me? And because you grab more rebounds, does that make you a better rebounder? Because just so you know, Adrian Dantley averaged 30 a game for 6 straight years. Curry never did that. Do you think Adrian Dantley is a better scorer than Steph Curry? I'm asking a simple question because Bam has grabbed more rebounds, right? Because Bam has grabbed more rebounds than Evan Mobley over the course of his career. So because he's grabbed more rebounds, if we're gonna do that, Green, right? If we're gonna do that, I want to make sure you do that all the way around. So whenever you talk about a guy scoring, if a guy scores more, right? If a guy scores more, that guy is better because that's your stance, right? That's your stance. And I want you to keep that same energy with everything. You're not just going to do that with me when it comes to rebounding. No, you're not. So when we talk about the Clippers and we talk about a guy averaging more points than James Harden, when we talk about a guy scoring more than Kawhi Leonard, that means he's a better scorer than Leonard. I want to make sure, right? I want to make sure you keep that same energy with me when you talk about him being when you talk about Bam being a better rebounder than Evan Mobley because he grabs more rebounds. That's your stance. That's 100% your stance. So, all right, guys, it's about that time for me. I got to bounce. It was good to see you guys tonight. Y'all know where to find me. If I'm not here, I'm on a panel Monday to Friday. If I'm not on a panel, you can catch me 9 a.m. on TikTok. Good Morning NBA. If I'm not there, you can find me here. If I'm not here, you can find me on Saturday afternoon with my man Big Ox on the Players Choice Network. So I'm not hard to find, guys. I will see you soon, but until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. Well, last time you talk to your mother, call your mother. I will talk to you soon, but until then, take it light. But take it. Absolutely, man. It was good to see you guys tonight. No doubt.
It's going down. It's going down.